Welcome back to So Arizona, y'all. It is my favorite time of year, and that is the time to plant tomato seeds indoors in preparation for the spring. And I have got all of my seed trays laid out. Well, not all of my seed trays. I actually planted, I think, 5 or 6 seed trays last night of tomatoes, and I am just so excited. And back at it this morning, I have got some of my seed packets here. Just some. So I have been trying to narrow it down. I sat on the couch for a little while last night and I was going through all of the different ones. I tried to get pretty organized, and I had a little pile for cherry tomatoes, a little pile for the dwarf tomatoes, a little pile for new ones I want to try, a pile of my other favorite full-size tomatoes, and it is just impossible. I keep telling TJ I do not have enough space, which is crazy because my garden is like 1/4 of an acre. So that's absolutely ridiculous. But unless I want to go buy an entire farm, which I would love to do, I am never going to be able to try all of the tomatoes. But that leads me to the point of this video, and that is that I want to share some of my favorite tomatoes with you, as well as some new ones that I'm going to try. I've got a couple of really exciting projects that I am starting on right now for the spring. One of those is that I am going to be a part of the Renew program with Seed Savers Exchange. As a part of that program, I am going to be growing out 2 varieties. I'm going to be growing out a tomato variety called Setzer, and I'm also going to be growing out a pumpkin variety. And so Seed Savers Exchange will utilize gardeners who are willing to grow out specific seeds for them because they need to replenish their stock, or they need to test them, or what have you, just to be able to preserve that variety for future growing. And so I think that that is actually a really exciting thing to be a part of. So the first one is the Setzer tomato, and that one really attracted me because, for one thing, they have not really grown it out before. The seed was donated to them by a grower who said that this was a hot dog shaped variety of tomato. So of course that attracted my attention. They have no information on it. There's really no information online about it, other than that it is a hot dog shaped tomato. So I'm not sure what to think about that, but I just knew that it was so weird I had to try it. So I am growing out a couple of trays of those seeds so that I can plant those seedlings out in the spring. So I'm very excited about that. The other one is a pumpkin, and since this is a tomato video, I will talk about that pumpkin later, but I'm equally excited about that one because it is also very rare and not much is known about it. Let's get back to talking about tomatoes though. The second project that I'm really excited about for spring is that I am trialing a ton of different dwarf tomatoes, and I will talk about those probably in a different video because most of those are going to be new to me. I'm going to be trialing them in my raised beds and in containers so that I can try to find some of the best ones for so many of you gardeners that are growing in small spaces. There are just an amazing number of dwarf tomatoes, micro dwarf tomatoes, or container friendly ones that are a little bit bigger but not much bigger. I'm talking maybe 12 to 20 inches total. So it is just really exciting to see all of the different varieties, and I'm really excited to share those with you a little bit later. So I thought that what I would do is share with you some of my very favorite tomatoes that I've tried over the years that are my tried and true. And that was one of the things that I shared in a video that I did previously about some of the lessons I've learned in the garden, and that is, if you want to experiment and try new varieties, totally go for that, because I love doing that myself. But you should always have some of your tried and true as backup, just in case those experiments don't quite work out as you are expecting. So I want to share my tried and true, but I also want to share some of the new varieties that I'm going to be trying with you. I'm just going to plant as I share with you some of these varieties and try to be able to string words together at the same time as I am planting. Sometimes walking and talking is really hard, but I want to talk about some of my very favorite ones first that I've had such great luck with. You know, we only get so many seasons in the garden, and when I look at these seed catalogs, I just see so many varieties that I want to try. But I realize that we only get so many seasons in the garden, and so there's no way, as much as I would like and as many varieties as I try every year, that I'm ever going to be able to try all of the varieties that I really want to. So it's really important to find varieties that are going to work in your area. So gardeners are a great resource for taking their word for it and taking their experience and then trying them yourself. So I like to do a lot of tried and true varieties that other people have tried before me that I know are probably going to perform well in the desert, but I also really like trying some others too. So I think that it is really, really helpful for gardeners to get some recommendations from people that are growing in your area, because that can help take some of the guesswork out of it, because there are certainly some varieties of all sorts of vegetables and fruits that will do great in your area and some that just really aren't well suited for it. So it would be a shame to waste your time growing something that somebody else has already figured out is just not a very good performer. So anything that I try that does really well here in the Southwest, I always want to share with you. So what I'm planting right now are my tidy rose tomatoes. These are ones that I have shared before. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because I have other videos where I talk more extensively about them. I will link those in the description box below for you so that you can go reference that video if you'd like a little more information on them. But let's go through my favorite ones first. The tidy rose tomato. They call it a tidy rose because it is a very compact and sturdy plant. It produces very petite beefsteak style tomatoes that are pink and very sweet. I love this one for raised beds. The next one is the apricot zebra, and it produces orange tomatoes that have a light yellow or a light green streak on them. I've had both of those color types come from my plants. It is a kind of an egg-sized tomato, a little bit oblong, and it's very sweet. It's got a bit of a thicker skin. I love that one also, and it's a little bit smaller, so you could probably do it with support in a pot or in a raised bed. I've usually grown this one in my in-ground beds. The next one is the Thornburns terracotta. This is an orangish brown tomato, and it is delicious. It is very juicy. I just love this one. Very prolific in the summer here. The next one is the cream sausage tomato. This is also about the size of an egg, although it's a little pointier than some of the others. And it's more of a Roma style tomato, a light yellow, a little lighter flavor than some of the stronger, bolder tomatoes. But what it lacks in flavor, it makes up for in productivity. This cream sausage tomato just blew my mind when it came to how many tomatoes it produced. Delicious for roasting. The next one is the Moonglow tomato. It is an orange tomato that has rosy streaks in it. It's very pretty and nice and sweet. I really like that one. That's a normal tomato shape, like a round tomato, and it's just a really good one. And then also the gold medal. Now the gold medal, I did not get very many tomatoes off of it, but I am keeping this on my grow list, at least a couple plants, because the flavor was so good. It was a yellow tomato that also had kind of an orange or rosy streak to it, and it was very flavorful. So that one's good, although not as productive. The next one is the black Krim. This one is just a tried and true. It's a workhorse. It produces like reddish purple tomatoes that are super juicy and flavorful, and it does really well here for me. The Punta Banda tomato is one that I have shared so often, and it is a golf ball sized red tomato, traditional tomato flavor, and it is delicious. It prefers not being supported. It likes to just crawl along the ground, and it is a heavy producer for sure, and it just keeps going through the summer heat. It does not slow down. It's amazing. So when the other tomatoes kind of get discouraged during the hottest part of our summer, the Punta Banda just keeps on giving. So I always grow that one. The next one is the speckled Roman. This is a large, heavy paste tomato, and it is really cool. It's red with some orange streaks on the skin. It is a bit of a diva, so it tends to get blossom end rot much more easily than any other tomato I've grown. But even though it is so picky and so princessy about its conditions, it is such a delicious tomato that I always grow a few plants every year. Even though it is such a pain, it's such a diva, I grow it anyway because it's that delicious. And then here are the last two, and I saved these last two because they were somewhat of a surprise actually. The Juliet F1 tomato is a tomato that I had never tried before. It's a hybrid, and it is a very small kind of aroma shaped tomato. It's more of a paste tomato, and it's not juicy at all, which made me think that it was going to be kind of gross and mealy, but it actually wasn't at all. It was very sweet and very productive, and just a really good tomato overall. This one's going to need support. It's a wild one. It's going to get a little bit crazy, so definitely make sure you keep up on supporting it and give it a lot of space. And this last one is called the Afghan Orange Tomato. I got this one from the Pueblo Seed Company. And again, I will put the tomato varieties and the company that I got the seeds from in this description box below, along with links to those other videos. In case you feel like I'm rushing, I have a lot of tomatoes to get through, so I don't want to take up too much time. Otherwise, this is going to end up being a 3-hour video, and I don't think anybody has time for watching something like that. So if you find that you hear one that I mention and you really want to know more about it, chances are I have much more information on those videos. If not, I will elaborate more right here. But otherwise, you can find that info in another video. The Afghan orange tomato was kind of a surprise to me. This was an impulse purchase. I was visiting Santa Fe. I was in a little grocery store there. It was a local grocery store. And this was actually a couple years ago, more than a couple. It was packaged in 2020. So these were older seeds, and I just grew them out for 2025. I had great germination on these, and these are a small, they look a bit like a beefsteak, but they were really small, like, you know, maybe like a little bit smaller than a baseball, a little bit bigger than a golf ball. And they were an orangish yellow tomato, but they actually did not perform well at all for the first go round in the spring. But then in the fall, they just burst into bloom and fruit, and I have been collecting several tomatoes every day off of these. It's now late December and they are still producing, so that was quite a surprise. They definitely don't like the heat that we get in May and June, but if you want to try going for round 2 of tomato growing season, you can start the seeds in July and then put them out in the garden in August or so, or September, and they will give you a flush of fruit in the fall. But I am going to try these again in the spring and just see how it does, because I am really pleasantly surprised and kind of in love with this tomato. It's got a really nice, sweet, light flavor to it that I like a lot. So those were the full-size tomatoes. Of course, I stopped planting because I ended up not being able to talk and plant seeds at the same time. Also, you may notice that I am reusing my old seed markers because I apparently am out of them and I have to order some more, and I didn't have any today, but I need to start these seeds, so I am just going to reuse them. I'm crossing out the name of what I was growing the last time on the back, and I'm just putting it on the front. So whatever works, you know. So those are the tidy rows in there. Let's talk a little bit about the cherry tomatoes, because I've got a couple that are going to be new for me this year that I'm really excited about, and I also have some that are my tried and true cherry tomatoes. So let's talk about the new ones first, because I think that would be fun. So I've got these 2 new ones, wait a second, 3 new ones actually, and these are the Ruby Crush. These are a hybrid, and it's supposed to be a grape tomato, and I have heard great things about this online. It's a red grape tomato. So that's the Ruby Crush. It's supposed to be a determinate tomato. So we'll see how that one goes. Determinate means that they tend to produce their fruit in a very short period of time rather than over the entire season. The next one is also a red grape tomato. It's called Mountain Vineyard F1, and it says that it is it's got high lycopene because it has a crimson gene. So I am assuming that it is going to be a much darker, richer red color. So I'm really excited about that. So again, that's Ruby Crush and Mountain Vineyard F1. So both of those are hybrids. So those are going to be new to me this year. And then the third one that's new to me this year is the Desi Sun Gold tomato. And this is a variety of Sun Gold, as you can imagine from the name. And they are orange, and they are supposed to be a very sweet and prolific cherry tomato. So I'm really excited about trying those three new ones. As for the ones that I have mentioned before and tried before, the first one is the Torrangina F1, and it is also, like the Sun Gold, an orange cherry tomato. So in my opinion, this one is pretty similar to the Sun Gold tomato. So if you like that sweet cherry tomato flavor, you'll really like this one. I find that the skin is a bit thicker, but I also find that it does really well here in the Southwest, and I'm wondering if the thick skin really helps it out, because it does not tend to get the sun scald like some of the other ones do. I grow this one in my raised beds, and it does really well, but it does require support because it gets to be a little bit larger plant. So that is the Torrangina F1. The next one is the Berries Crazy Cherry, and this one is from Brad Gates at Wild Boar Farms, and I really love this one. This is a crazy producer. I will see if I can find a photo of it online so that I can share it here, because I don't have any photos of it myself. These are really, really small, kind of a teardrop shaped almost cherry tomato. They are light yellow, and they are really sweet and delicious. I love those, and they will give you huge clusters of dozens of tomatoes on each of those clusters. So it's a pretty weird and amazing plant. The next one is the Chiapas Wild tomato. This one is going to give you some really small, sweet red cherry tomatoes, almost like a currant tomato, like really small. Larger than a pea, but not much larger. So these are really, really good. And also the Texas Wild Cherry, which gives you just a traditional regular sized cherry tomato, a round cherry tomato that's red. And both of those are really sweet and really productive. I got my seeds for these from Native Seed Search. They produce a lot of foliage. They tend to like to crawl along the ground and not be supported. They will end up almost becoming like a shrub. And I think that all of that foliage really helps to protect the tomatoes down below the leaves. In fact, when you look at the plant, it just looks like it's green, but when you lift up the plant, then you'll find a lot of the fruits are all down there on the bottom side. So it's pretty cool. Both of those do really well in ground. I think if you have a raised bed, they would probably do well by themselves because they are so prolific. I'm not sure they would share the space very well with other plants. So keep that in mind. So those were the Chiapas Wild and the Texas Wild Cherry from Native Seed Search. And then this next one is a yellow cherry. It's a bush cherry. I've had really good luck with this one too. I'm going to put the name of it up on the screen. This is a free sample that I got from somewhere along the way, and so I tried it and was pleasantly surprised. It's got a really beautiful, very delicate little leaf shape, which I love, but it's a tomato cherry. It's a yellow tomato cherry, and it's a bush plant, and it's called gourmandise yellow. I think I'm saying that right. So you can check that out. I am actually not sure where you can find the seeds for these. Like I said, this was a free sample that I got several years ago. I will do a little bit of looking around, and if I can find a seed company that carries these, I will definitely list this below, because this is one I'd really like you to try too. So those are the cherry tomatoes. Notice I'm not planting yet, but that's okay. let's just move on and forget about that for now. And let's look at some of these that are going to be new to me this year. I'm really excited about trying some of these because they have come either highly recommended or just look so interesting I cannot even resist it. This one is called the Supremo. It's a bush Roma style tomato, and it's supposed to be highly productive. And so I really wanted to try this one. I got this one from Botanical Interest. Let me read what it says. It says it produces a dependable mid-season crop of impressively large uniform tomatoes that set well even in the heat. So if you're growing in the Southwest, that last phrase, even in the heat, will make you understand why I wanted to try this one so much, because I am always looking for tomato plants that will produce even in the heat. So I'm really excited about trying the Supremo tomato. The next one, it was a total impulse buy. I'm not gonna lie. This one was from Row 7 Seeds, and it is called the Midnight Roma tomato. So it's a Roma style tomato, and I will read you the description. It says it's a deep purple red paste tomato. It's packed with phytonutrients, and it will stop you in your tracks because of how beautiful it is. It says, in the kitchen, this purple wonder shines for its quick cook time and its memorably delicious flavor. So it looks really beautiful. It's hard to see on this seed packet, but it looks kind of like a very dark red Roma tomato that has a bit of a purple blush that is so dark it almost looks black, which I guess is why they called it the Midnight Roma tomato. So I'm really excited about trying that one. I know that they sell that in stores sometimes at Whole Foods and things. They have started selling some of their fruits and vegetables. And so this is Row 7 Seeds. The next one is a tomato that I tried last year, but it really just did not take off. I think I got it into the ground in the fall a little too late and it just got cold. It's actually still alive back there and it's got some fruits on it, but they just have not really ripened yet. It's just been too cold. And it is called the Bread and Salt tomato. So I've had a lot of people tell me that this one is a really delicious one. It's an indeterminate tomato, and Baker Creek says it is a delectable, meaty ox heart type. So that sounds pretty delicious to me. So this one says that the leaves are naturally wispy and that it needs strong support. So if you want to try the Bread and Salt, you need to definitely provide some support for that one. And then let me do these. One is, these are also sample packs. So these are just, you know, like little samples. So I will have to look up and see where you can get these varieties, and I will do that and list it below, of course. The first one is called the Indigo Apple. And so it's going to be kind of a black tomato. It's going to turn much darker in the sun and in the heat. And I think as it ripens, it turns black. So that's how you know. It's high in a pigment called anthocyanin. It's early ripening and it's a heavy producer. That's what my notes say. I looked this up a little while ago. So it's called Indigo Apple. So I thought that would be fun to try. It sounded really beautiful. And then this one is called Prudence Purple, and it is a potato leaf. So its leaves are going to look more like a potato plant rather than a tomato plant, which I really love potato leaf tomato plants. I think they're really pretty. But it's a beefsteak style and it's dark pink and it's supposed to have very few seeds. So I really wanted to try this one too. It's Prudence Purple. And the last two I've grown before but haven't had great luck with, so I included these in my to grow again pile, and I consider them kind of new to me because I just really haven't gotten them to produce very well. These are a larger tomato, and those can be a little bit tricky in the Southwest with our heat and our short seasons. So if you are new to growing tomatoes and you want to try something that is a little more guaranteed, stick to the smaller style tomatoes. So like the salad tomatoes and the ones that are like golf ball sized or smaller, the cherry tomatoes, the pear tomatoes, currant tomatoes, all of the ones that are smaller will produce and ripen more quickly, and they will be more likely successful in our heat. So try those. But I am intent upon trying these these two larger ones. They are the Paul Robeson. I have heard that they are very smoky and delicious, and they are a Russian variety. And then Dr. Wyche's Yellow, or Dr. Wyche's, I'm not sure how you say that, but I have heard really good things about both of these. Let's see. It says that the Paul Robeson produces a 7 to 10 ounce fruit of brick red color, and that the Dr. Wyche's or Wyche's is a 1 pound glowing tangerine orange fruit. So these are definitely going to be a little bit trickier to grow, although I do not think impossible. I've been able to grow quite a few of the larger size tomatoes, so I have high hopes for these. So these are going in my new to try pile because I've not yet been successful with those two. So I hope that you are getting really excited about tomato season. I think that really, if I had to choose, it depends on the time of year when you ask me. If you ask me at the end of summer, I would tell you that fall and the cooler season is my favorite time to garden. But really, once I've had time to rest up and I have forgotten about the pain of the sunburns and the sweat and the heat of summer, I would probably tell you, oh no, summertime is my favorite time to garden. And really, honestly, it is. I love all of the summer fruits of the garden, the corn and the beans and the squash and the tomatoes and the peppers. I just find that all of those fruits are just so delicious and ones that I really look forward to when I've gone a few months without them. And also, I just think it's a little bit easier to grow lettuces and things in the house if you have a sunny windowsill, or if you have a light rack where you can start things or grow them in pots. I think that leaf lettuces and herbs and things are more forgiving, and so if you have the time and the desire and the facilities to be able to support growing those, then those can be done any time of year. And although the lettuce leaves and some of the leafy greens are really delicious, you can't really grow tomatoes, at least not on the scale that I want to, in the house. So I have grown dwarf tomatoes in the house. And some of my early videos, which are admittedly incredibly awkward, I did a whole series on indoor tomato gardening, and I talked about some of the dwarf varieties that I tried. If you really want to suffer through those videos, I will also link those below, and I'm not going to take them down even though they were pretty bad and I'm a little embarrassed of them. I did share a few of the dwarf tomatoes that I successfully grew on my light racks in the house, and they did really, really well. So there are a few varieties that you can grow in the house. I found a couple of pepper varieties and a cucumber variety too that I had a lot of success with. But for the most part, you really have to wait for the summertime when it comes to tomato plants and peppers and all of those kinds of things. So I don't know, it's just, this is my time. I get so excited about all of the different textures and colors. I mean, there's nothing like summertime produce to just give you so many different shapes and colors and patterns. It's just so amazing. And the hardest part is making a decision about what to plant. And I do always plant way too many things, always. And every year I think that I'm going to try to be a little more selective, but then I sit down with my seed boxes and I go through them, and I just feel like, oh my gosh, I have to try this one and I have to try that one, and I just get carried away. So this year I think I'm gonna try something different. Instead of trying to limit myself on the number of varieties I'm gonna try, I think that I'm going to try a few more varieties than I probably would allow myself in previous years, but I'm just going to try 2 or 3 plants. That way I have a backup in case one of them dies. So if I have 2 of each variety, then maybe I can just try a few more, because maybe these are the words of an addict, I don't know. But but that's okay. I have no shame. I don't care. I want to try tomatoes. I've also got quite a few new pepper varieties that I want to try this year too. And I've gotten some seed packets already in the works, and so I've got them in the house and they are ready to go. And I'm getting really excited about those too, because I have found a couple of really interesting looking pepper varieties to try. So I will share those with you in an upcoming video, as well as eggplants. Eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, tomatillos. You should be planting those right now around Christmas time. December, mid to late December is what I've found. If you are up in Phoenix, you may be able to plant them a little bit before that. But I am a little south of Tucson, and so I'm able to grow them, but I have to start them just a little bit later. I hear from a lot of people that they get really confused about when to start what. And in the Southwest, variety is really important, but timing is also incredibly important. And if you miss the window for when to start seeds or when to set out your transplants, then usually you're not going to get very good results. So in light of that, I have made a planting guide that I think is really simplistic. It's photos and the names of the plants, and then I've got it listed by season. So I've got it listed, like, say, from mid-March, what you plant in mid-March, or what you plant January through February, or what you plant September through December. So I've got them in blocks. That way you know exactly what you need to plant and what time of year you need to be planting them. I've also included a few bonus sections, like how to prepare your potatoes for planting and how to grow your own sweet potato slips, and a few other things like that that I hope will be really helpful for you. I will leave a link to that planting guide down below. It's available on my website if you would like to get a copy for yourself, and hopefully that will help you along your way and help you stay on track. I've got a lot more planting to do because clearly I am not good at planting and talking at the same time. So I am going to get the rest of these trays planted. I have 4 trays and I've only gotten half of the first one done. So I'm going to do that. I hope you all have had a very happy holiday season. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all just come so quickly. So we have passed Thanksgiving and Christmas, and now we are getting ready to ring in the new year. So I hope that you are getting your garden goals and plans together, and that you have had a really nice time celebrating in whatever way you choose. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kara from So Arizona. Until next time, happy gardening.